Let's talk about a scenario that, if you're a sysadmin, you've either faced or you've had nightmares about. It's one of those classic, high-pressure tasks with a deadline that feels just impossible. So just imagine for a second, the email lands in your inbox. 1,000 new users, and they all need accounts in ActiveDirectory by the end of the day. Now, doing that manually, that's not just a nightmare, it's an express train to carpal tunnel and a whole lot of mistakes. So how on earth do you pull this off? Yeah, 1,000. That is a seriously big number. It's the kind of task that's practically designed to cause headaches and invite human error. But there is a much, much better way. And this is exactly where automation, and specifically the magic of PowerShell, comes in to save the day. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down the challenge itself. Then, we'll get into the data blueprint, the heart of the operation. After that, we'll fire up the PowerShell engine, learn how to run this thing safely, and we'll finish up with some pro tips and checks to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. Look, this is about way more than just saving a few hours. This is about a complete mindset shift. From a stressful, click-and-pray manual process to a clean, reliable, and frankly, lightning-fast automated workflow. And the hero of our story today? It's PowerShell. So I want you to think of PowerShell's Import-CSV command as like the world's greatest event coordinator. You just hand it a perfectly organized guest list with every single detail, and it takes care of the rest. It ensures every single user is created exactly right without you having to manually check them in one by one by one. And that brings us to the most important part of this whole thing. The entire process lives or dies based on that master guest list. This is our data blueprint, and it takes the form of a really simple file called a CSV. Now, if you've never worked with a CSV before, don't sweat it. It's just a basic text file. You can literally create and edit it in any spreadsheet program you already have, like Excel or Google Sheets. It's the universal language for data and tables, and PowerShell speaks it fluently. Okay, this right here, this is the blueprint our script absolutely needs. Every single column header you see maps directly to an Active Directory setting. You've got the display name, which is their full name. You've got the SAM account name, that's the classic login name. The user principal name, which looks like an email. And this one is key, the organizational unit path. That tells Active Directory exactly which folder to put the new user in. And please, if you remember one thing about setting up your data, let it be this. That OU path has commas in it, right? Because of that, you have to wrap the entire thing in quotation marks in your spreadsheet. If you don't, the import will see the commas, think it's supposed to be multiple different columns, and the whole thing will just fall apart. This one little tip will save you so much grief. All right, our data blueprint is ready. Now let's talk about the engine that's going to do all the heavy lifting, the PowerShell script itself. And this isn't just some dumb loop. It's actually a pretty intelligent tool with built-in safety features to make sure this whole process is safe and reliable. And this is what I mean by intelligent. The script is smart. It won't just crash if a field is empty. It'll tell you what's wrong. It's clever enough to check if a user like J. Doe already exists and will just skip it so you don't create duplicates. It can even generate strong random passwords for you if you want. And maybe most importantly, it logs everything. Every success, every failure, every skip. You get a perfect audit trail of exactly what happened. Now, you're going to see a line that looks just like this at the top of the script. You don't have to be a PowerShell guru to get this. Just think of this one line as the script's big red safety switch. It's what turns on a superpower that lets us do a complete dry run before we change a single thing in our system. So, let's get to a really crucial point. When you're dealing with automation that could affect thousands of accounts, you never ever just hit go and hope for the best. The golden rule is simple. Test first, always. Let's walk through this super simple 3-step process to do this safely. It really is this simple. Step 1, you run your script, but you add the -whatif parameter at the end. This is your dry run. The script will go through your whole list and tell you exactly what it plans to do user by user, but it won't actually do it. Step 2, you read that output. Make sure it looks right. And only then, once you're confident, do you move to step 3. You run the exact same command, you just take off the -whatif part. Test, review, then act. That's the mantra. Okay, so you've basically mastered the core process. Let's wrap up with a few pro tips. We'll look at a couple of common things that might trip you up and how to fix them, and then we'll cover some security best practices that take this from just being a quick script to a truly professional, compliant process. If something does go wrong, chances are it's one of these three things. You've got a blank cell or a typo in your CSV headers, your OU path is wrong or you forgot the quotes, or the user already exists. The first two are just quick data fixes. And that last one? That's not even an error. That's the script working exactly like it's supposed to, safely skipping duplicates for you. And finally, let's talk security. That CSV file you made, it has names, usernames, maybe temporary passwords. Treat it like sensitive data. I always recommend letting the script generate strong passwords and then forcing users to change them the first time they log on. Also, run the script with an account that has just enough permission to do the job, nothing more. And hang on to those log files. They're your proof of what happened and when. So there you have it. You've just taken what would have been a full day of mind-numbing, error-prone clicking, and you've turned it into a script that probably runs in a couple of minutes. You did it safely, you did it efficiently, and you have a full audit trail. So the only real question left is, with all this time you just saved, what are you going to automate next?